Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be my episode 5 review for Moon Knight with spoilers. That is your spoiler warning. Please watch the episode first and then come back. A lot happened in this episode. It was very, very powerful, so let's chat about it. It starts off, Mark is in the asylum still, speaking to the doctor. By the way, I say this every single time, but I think this is the episode that just solidifies it globally. Oscar Isaac's acting performance in here, not only is he like going through such a dynamic range of emotions, like I'll get to it later, but I started feeling a lot of stuff, man. But he's bringing like that range to two separate characters who look identical, but you can tell they are different characters. He's sharing the screen like with himself. Man, he is on another level. My respect for Oscar Isaac's acting, like just everything, like as a person, has gone through the roof from this episode. The man is goated. But yeah, he has a nice little chat with the dodgy doctor. He gets syringed once again. He wakes up and then he's in the hallway where we left episode 4 with a goddamn hippo. Because why not? The hippo then explains, "You are dead, mate." And they have a nice little bit of a chat. The CGI for the hippo looks really, really good. They go for a door and they're on a boat in the desert because this episode's crazy, man. She then basically goes into both Stephen and Mark, rips out their hearts, puts on a little pendulum thing, and then puts a feather, and yeah, this episode's bonkers, man. But the overall gist is basically, this thing is going crazy. There's a lot of stuff in your past that you need to sort out, because if you do not sort out, you're gonna be in the sand, frozen, dead, wasted, in the bin. Stephen and Mark then go back into the asylum hallway. They're looking through the windows and they can see like Moon Knight beating the dog, changing the sky of Khonshu, all this stuff. And we've seen it through the episodes. He's seeing it and reliving it again. They then go through one of these doors and all these dead people here. You see those scales like going crazy again. And at this point, I am completely gone. Like, I don't know what's going on. All these dead people. Obviously, I'm assuming Mark has killed all these people. We then see a boy. Mark is basically begging Stephen, do not follow this boy. Obviously, he follows him. And then it gets real, man. The next few scenes are extremely powerful. We basically learn 100%, I think pretty much everyone knew anyway, that Mark is the original. And he had a brother and they go off and play together. The mum makes it very clear, be careful. They have a nice little play in a dodgy cave. By the way, when I was younger, you'd never catch me going into a cave. I'm just saying. No chance, yo. It then starts to rain like crazy. You can feel and see the panic on Stephen's face. Again, Oscar Isaac is too sick, man. Goes into the cave and we know what's happening, even though we don't actually see it. We then teleport back to Mark, and this is where the episode really gets amazing for me, because it starts to like just go like that. Mark goes through the door and we see obviously like, you know, everyone's grieving obviously the loss of the brother. Everyone's dressed in black. The funeral has probably just happened. And in the scene, like Stephen's already there. They start chatting like, yo, you need to go. Do not see this. And then younger Mark's on the stairs, comes down, and the mum, man, I don't even know like how or what to think. Like, she should not be like that, especially to her other son, even though if she thinks deep down like it's his fault. But man, I can somehow weirdly see why she's being like this. She's going about it obviously the wrong way, 100%, but you can just feel the level of rage and sadness inside. She takes it fully out of Mark. Mark runs upstairs. Stephen follows. We get like Dad and Mark celebrating like his birthday. The mum comes. She is wasted. Has a go at him again. He goes back upstairs. And we keep going up and up on this staircase and the scene keeps changing. I think it's really well done. Mark then stops Stephen from going up to the top. Obviously, we see it later. He drags him outside. We see the scene where Mark finally leaves. The dad's like begging him to stay and he just bounces. Then we get teleported to the desert. We see how Khonshu finally picks Mark. Mark's obviously wasted these people in the desert. He crawls into like this mini Khonshu temple and hey man, he is about to delete himself. There's a lot of things in this episode regarding that stuff. PTSD, extreme levels of trauma, mental health stuff in this episode went through the roof. I'm so glad they like shown this and didn't shy away from it, because it's very like real stuff that happens in the real world. Just because it's a Marvel show doesn't obviously mean it happens. This shit happens, bruv. Khonshu then obviously picks Mark. He gets transformed into the Moon Knight character, which we haven't seen now. If you count this one in last week's episode, we ain't seen for like 2 full episodes, which is kind of weird, but I think we really, really needed this episode. The hippo lady then says, we're getting close to this destination. You guys ain't sorted out. You better go and sort out. Obviously, Stephen realizes whatever it is in this room. They go back to it and man, yeah, it's some powerful stuff, yo. Like, this scene got me bad, mate. I felt it. It was really well done. Very, very sad. Mark is just absolutely going insane in this room. The mum's outside bashing the door down, and then you see, like, the very first transformation into Stephen, and he's living a, like, fantasy world where he thinks, like, his mum's doing good. He's, like, cleaning his room. She comes in. Obviously, we don't see it, but we get it. She gets the belt, beats the crap out of him, and then Mark basically says to Stephen in the hallway of the asylum again, your version of our story is like the good one. Like, you should be happy with that. You think your mum's alive. You think she was great. All this stuff. Man, I felt it. Just the acting, the way this episode was done was so, so good. And obviously, he has a full breakdown. He's like, I swear, like, my mum's alive. Teleported to basically her death scene. Mark is on the street, has a pretty much mental breakdown, and then turns back into Stephen again with no jump cuts, just right before our eyes. And he immediately, like, picks up his phone. He starts pretending to talk to his mum. He's like, Mum, I'm lost, blah, blah, blah. And then we get it. Like, this is crazy, man. Absolutely insane. And now it's all starting to make sense. Obviously, Mark says this is the point where our lives started, like, crossing over and just getting mashed up because she died. And this is insane. What an amazing episode. There's still a few things I don't get, like what's going on in the actual asylum. There's a few times where Mark wakes up and he's back in the asylum with dodgy Ethan Hawke, and Stephen then takes control because the doctor wants to speak to him, and that's the stuff I'm not 100% sure on. Like, what is real? And, like, maybe, is it past stuff? Is he just remembering everything? Is it a complete blur? It's crazy. But this episode was an absolute banger. But Stephen fully accepts that his mum is dead. He hears the phone. You've got that dead dial tone. And then they, like, teleport back to the ship with the dodgy hippo. And she's like, you're out of time. These, like, zombie sand creatures come. Stephen beats the crap out of them, which you love to see it, yo. And then he falls off the goddamn boat, bruv. Turns to stone before our eyes. And then they're like, okay, cool. You done it. Well done. And then Mark wakes up in a cornfield, because why not? This episode was kind of bonkers, but so serious and heartfelt, and I felt the emotions, man. Multiple scenes, I was just like, ah, man, just, yeah, this stuff happens in real life, and it's horrible to see, but I'm glad we're seeing it on the screen. They did not shy away from it. If I had to grade this episode just as its own, this is a solid 9 out of 10. I actually think now this is probably the best episode for me personally, just because there's so much real down-to-earth realistic things in here. Even if it's all trauma based, you know this stuff happens. I felt it. It was a very, very good episode. Extremely well done. My only worry now is we got one episode left, bruv. One episode left, and there's still so much stuff to go through. Obviously, we know he's going to be Moon Knight again, I'm assuming. So we got to fix that. We got to fix Layla. We got to stop the bad guy. Is the bad guy going to get that dodgy Egyptian god? Is she or he already here? I ain't got a clue, mate. But we got one episode left to fix everything and just show and resolve everything. It's a lot to do. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you rate this episode out of 10? Let me know down below. And yeah, I can't wait for the finale, man. On May the 4th, Star Wars Day. You better stay subbed. There's some sicko stuff coming very, very soon. Thanks for watching. See you in a bit.